Hello my dear friends, and welcome back to another very exciting Star Wars video. It is I coming at you once again, your favourite galactic hostess, Star Wars Meg. And today my friends, we have a range of different Star Wars updates and more news coming out of San Diego Comic-Con 2025. In my last video, we spoke about the new reveals for the Maul Show, Maul Shadow Lord, and Ahsoka Season 2. I hope they drop some public trailers soon, because 2026 is going to be an amazing year for the fandom. It might be a bit quiet until then, but I'm here to entertain you. Make sure to subscribe. And also guys, stay tuned to the end of the video, because I'm going to be sharing with you a very funny personal Star Wars anecdote. So no more jibber jabber, let's dive straight in. So the main focus at San Diego Comic-Con on the Star Wars front has been Lucasfilm celebrating 20 years of Star Wars animation. Say what you will about the overall state of the Star Wars franchise, animation has been killing it. The shows have consistently remained top-notch, with very few exceptions. And yes, I'm even talking about Young Jedi Adventures. And even though I put my hands up and say not everything's been my cup of tea, I'm a huge fan of Rebels, The Clone Wars, The Bad Batch. Tales of the Jedi was a masterpiece. There were some great episodes of Tales of the Empire and Tales of the Underworld. Star Wars Visions is a bit more of a mixed bag for me, but that's fine. We don't have to love everything. And if I had to point to one aspect of the Star Wars franchise that Lucasfilm is getting right even under Disney, it's hands down Star Wars animation. The animated side understands character arcs, engaging action, how to do fan service bringing back old characters, and knowing how to pace a show. For example, The Bad Batch, 3 seasons was perfect. So even though I've had my gripes with plenty of the live action projects, The Acolyte, Mando Season 3, I take my hat off to Dave Filoni for what Star Wars animation has become. Not just him, but the likes of Brad Rao, Jennifer Corbett, voice acting legends like D. Bradley Baker, and now my friends, on the 20th anniversary, Dave Filoni's revealed to us some of his most intimate, personal sketches. Some of the earliest designs for Clone Wars and Rebels, Tales of the Jedi and a few others that very few people have seen. And along with those, a personal heartfelt message. Let's start with that. Dave said this: "I thought my job at Lucasfilm Animation would only last 2 years, but it's now been 20. This is only possible thanks to the dedication and hard work of many talented people who've worked at the company. George Lucas always believed in animation, and he believed in our team. He once said, 'Dare to be great,' and that's what we've done for the last 20 years. I hope we get to do it for 20 more. I know we're in a very strange period of time where fans have started turning against him, but I have to say there needs to be a distinction between his roots in Star Wars animation, everything he's contributed to those stories that we love, versus his recent live action work. He's Chief Creative Officer at Lucasfilm, so in a way, you can't really excuse everything. But when it comes to his role on Mando or Ahsoka, some might argue he's still finding his feet. He's still new to the process. But I definitely agree with this message. And now let's take a look at some of his never-before-seen raw sketches. Here we have an early drawing for Tales of the Jedi, baby Ahsoka Tano being held by her mother Pav T, a simple yet brilliant illustration. Next we have some early concepts for the Bad Batch. Now I don't know if you know this, but the idea of an elite group of defective clones came from George Lucas, and the very earliest concepts for the Bad Batch, with their final names that we know them as today, date back to 2011. Here you see the names Hunter, Tech, Crosshair, and Wrecker, and their armor resembles a mixture of Clone Trooper, Clone Commando, and Stormtrooper. It's insane how creative ideas change and evolve over time. To go from this to the final product, imagine the amount of drafting, different illustrations, creative conversations within Lucasfilm, to finally introduce them in the Clone Wars Season 7 and then their own show. And a massive question I would love the opportunity to put to Dave is, when did he come up with the idea for Omega? She's not in any of these early concepts. So when did he come up with her? What was the reasoning behind it? And does he intend to link her story to Boba Fett? And is it going to be in live action? And then my friends, some Star Wars Rebels concept art. This is for the Season 2 finale, on Malachor. Now this one is the most interesting. It's the Birdman Inquisitor from Tales of the Jedi, but Star Wars fans have noticed something very peculiar about his mask. It's very similar to some of the Keiju droid concepts that are going to be recycled in Ahsoka Season 2. According to the concept art shown at Celebration for Ahsoka's 2nd season, on Peridia there are some giant Sith robots. These originate in Clone Wars concept art for a robot that was under the Jedi Temple on Coruscant, but their mask resembles the Birdman. Is there a wider overarching connection? And is there going to be a poetry in Season 2? Ahsoka facing robots that look like the Inquisitor that she killed all those years ago? Just some food for thought, but it could just be a coincidence, and maybe I'm giving Dave a bit too much credit. And then finally some art from Star Wars Resistance. Some really cool reveals. So excited for Maul Shadow Lord, and make sure you check out yesterday's video if you missed it. But now my friends, on to a major Star Wars movie update. Star Wars Starfighter by Sean Levy goes into production this coming fall, so in just a couple of months' time. Ryan Gosling is starring in it, and recently we also had the news that Mia Goth is playing one of the villains. But last night, insider Jeff Snyder confirmed Lucasfilm is currently in the process of casting other roles and trying out different actors. My mind went straight to David Corenswet, who's been a bit too passionate about Star Wars in recent weeks. Even in his press tour for Superman, he admitted he'd rather do Star Wars than return to DC. So is the Superman megastar going to star alongside Ryan Gosling? Either way, this is amazing news, and apparently there are going to be more updates within the next month. So stay tuned for those. I'll be covering everything as it comes out. But now, my dear friends, as promised, a personal anecdote. Just something funny that happened on Twitter. I don't want to call it Twitter drama, but it was pretty hilarious, and it does concern Star Wars. So Star Wars Celebration is just under 2 years away. In that time we will have had The Mandalorian and Grogu, the return of Star Wars to the big screen, Ahsoka Season 2, and probably a bunch of trailers. So it's going to be a big event, just a month before Star Wars Starfighter. And so I got to thinking about it because I plan to be there. It's going to be a big deal, I'm coming all the way to America. So I thought, why don't I do something special for it? Why don't I do something that I haven't really done before? I'm not usually a cosplayer, but the occasion calls for it. I wanted to fully immerse myself this time. When Star Wars Celebration was literally in my backyard in London, I didn't dress up. I just went in a Star Wars t-shirt and jeans. But the cosplayers looked amazing, and I thought to myself, next time, I'm gonna dress up. I want to make a big deal of it, so I got to thinking, what character could I dress up as? In the past, whenever people have asked me which character I look like or which character I want to dress up as, I've often said the second sister, Trilla Sajuri from Jedi Fallen Order. But since the last time I thought about this question and addressed it, we've had the introduction of quite a few new characters into Star Wars canon, as well as the live-action versions of familiar faces. And there is one character who time and again my friends have said, oh my gosh Meg, you look so much like her. Facial features, hair length, general aesthetic, I guess, build, whatever you want to call it, and that is Natasha Liu Bordisso's live-action Sabine Wren. And so I figured, perfect, that's what I'm going to dress up as. And so I went and found a concept art photo from Ahsoka Season 1 Sabine Wren in her biker outfit, and I posted it to Twitter, announcing to the world that Star Wars Meg is going to be dressed as Sabine Wren for the next Star Wars Celebration. And that's when I learned something a bit unfortunate about some fans. So what happened was I posted this, I went to bed, and I came back and there were tons of supportive, encouraging comments, but then it spread beyond just my followers. And some of the anti-Disney Star Wars people caught onto it, and I guess some of them didn't know who Sabine was, and they kind of figured that it was just a woman with pink hair, and the comments I got was so funny. People were literally calling me, /Sabine, the photo of Sabine, an SJW, and imposing all these political labels on a fictional character from Mandalore. And it turns out some of these people are anti-Disney Star Wars, which is one thing, but they don't seem to know the characters they're criticizing, which makes me think they probably don't realize that Sabine's existed for over a decade in Star Wars animation. But all they saw was the colorful hair. Say what you will about her becoming a Jedi in live action, but if you're talking about Star Wars Rebels, she's an amazing animated character, probably one of the best Star Wars animated characters. And I get having criticisms towards Disney, but some of these people are acting as if Sabine Wren had personally offended them and personally offended their politics, which makes zero sense. And I found this really hilarious. This just baffled me because I realized that people who are out there saying Star Wars Rebels is awful or Ahsoka is awful don't actually know the characters. So just a fun little anecdote. I had a good laugh, but I hope Star Wars Celebration 2027 is a bunch of fun and I'm going to be there. But that said, my dear friends, share your thoughts on all of today's news in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this one, please be sure to give me a big fat thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, check me out on socials, and may the Force be with you always.